No is the answer to everything.
All right. Well, now that Carrie's broken the ice there, welcome to the 20th episode of Screaming into the Void, where we talk about whatever the hell we feel like. I will get to introductions in just a second. First, we're going to test something out.
Save your breath. Full screen.
That works.
That worked. That was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
That'll be hopefully our opener from here on out. Now, I'm still working out how to get that to play like right at the beginning and all that. But yeah, hope you guys like it. I stole the audio from the new Hellraiser movie.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, so today we have Cat Likes Warframe, our co-host, and hopefully Maester Chow will be joining us at some point. How you doing, Cat?
I'm good. How are you? It's been a long day, and Twitter has been breaking my brain multiple times over.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. We also have with us joining us for the first time on panel, Caucasian Sasquatch. How you doing, man?
Greetings and salutations.
Greetings back at you, man. And over here we have the Hand of God, the Dark Messiah, the Vengeful One, also known as Carrie.
Yeah, fuck you.
And you, sir.
Yeah. All right. So we've got in chat with us today, I see Lawrence. I saw that Kohai was pissing Lawrence off, which is always fun. Logical Spock is with us today. We've got Shadow of Hawk. Good to see you, buddy. Got something for you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Boa. Good to see you. So, yeah, that's gonna stick around. All right. So, first on the agenda, the very day that Elon Musk turned Twitter into the Wild West, I pulled a 7-day suspension down on my head.
Congratulations, hell.
Impressive.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed.
No, but a 7-day one. I had a 12-hour one, not a 7-day.
It was for something stupid too. So some of you might follow Heel versus Babyface on YouTube. He goes by Hot Toys on Twitter.
Yeah.
And he got his original Twitter account suspended for posting a quote from Game of Thrones: "All men must die." And again, YouTube, that's a quote from a show. One that I will admit I have never watched, but still. So when everybody started posting like random shit, like, men can't get pregnant, there are only two sexes, and that sort of thing, all over the internet, all over Twitter specifically, that day, which by the way has been fucking glorious. I was like, let's have some fun. So I posted and I tagged Hot Toys in it. "All men must die." Seconds later, they suspended my account, so I appealed it, and this was their response. "Hello, thank you for your patience as we reviewed your appeal request for account at Hentai Surprise regarding the following: all men must die, violating our rules against hateful conduct. They took it as hate speech and a threat against a group of people."
Which group of people?
Men.
Men? I'm impressed that they actually cared about men for once.
Oh, they,
when it serves their purpose.
Yeah, I think 7-1 commented on this, and he said something about maybe next time I should, include hashtag, feminism, and they'll leave it alone. I was like,
hold on to that thought.
Yeah, well, I told him I'll keep that in mind for next time. So yeah, they're just like, yeah, fuck you, you're not getting back in. So I just thought that was funny, because lots of people are getting away with freaking murder on Twitter these days.
Yeah, I just posted something about how Elliot Page is actually a woman named Ellen Page.
That was my first suspension. My first suspension was saying that Elliot Page, you mean the woman who cut off her tits and mutilated her body and All to become the one thing in Hollywood you don't want to be, a white man.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that got me a 12-hour suspension.
Hey, my 12-hour suspension was saying that nonces should be castrated.
Nice.
Sasquatch approves.
Yep. I'm good with that. Twitter wasn't apparently, but I'm good with it.
No,
got
well, this time I posted nonces should be castrated. Well, no, nonces should have their junk chopped off and fed to them, and that one didn't get me suspended.
Nice. I'll tell you
Nice.
backstage how I got Twatter Death Road, and I'm still Twatter Death Road despite the new owner.
Go for
it. Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
All right.
We're all about the free speech on this channel.
Chelsea,
And we upload onto Rumble, so fuck it.
Do you know who Chelsea Manning is?
No, should I?
Yeah, actually, you especially should. She was running for Senate out of New York.
Oh.
Right. I reminded the world that Bradley Manning belongs on death row, and they escorted me out of the building head first. And I've still been out of the building. I've tried 3 times to sign up again under new names. Nothing. Nope. You're busted. You're out.
That doesn't seem that bad. That seems kind of
Dead naming.
Oh.
Yeah, Chelsea Manning used to be Bradley Manning. The guy who went to prison. Yeah, that guy.
Oh.
Interesting.
On death row for 200 counts of murder, by the way. Not just for treason.
That's fucking fantastic. The deadly. It's funny, you can call somebody the name that their parents gave them, and you can get into tons of trouble, especially if you're like Boa in Canada. He knows all about that.
Literally.
Or the UK, or any number of other countries that claim to be of the West and of freedom and righteousness and goodness and aren't. It's just that simple. Amazingly though, you said that nonces should be castrated, and I agree with that sentiment, but they keep letting me get away with saying that instead of calling them maps or even pedophiles, I refer to them as subhuman child fucking degenerates.
I like that one so much better.
It's very descriptive.
I think it's accurate.
Oh, it's definitely accurate.
Trouble for it. You don't get in trouble for that.
Yeah, apparently not.
All right. We have a plan, guys. Let's go for it.
I've been doing it for months. Nobody said a word to me about it. In fact, some people have even agreed.
The thing is,
subhuman degenerate. Okay, yeah, good.
They are. They deserve to have They absolutely deserve to have. The funny thing is, I actually saw a documentary on Amazon where they were interviewing 2 guys. One of them who was chemically, one of them who actually was castrated, and they said that they actually felt so much better. That they were in prison at the time, and they said that it's helped cut off their desire for things that they don't want to have a desire for, which is kids. And they said that they actually did not regret it. They volunteered for it, and they were really happy, much happier after the fact.
See, scientific proof.
So, though I still think that's too generous, and it should be chopped off and fed to them while they were conscious, because you hurt kids.
I mean, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just surprised you didn't get, not on Twatter Death Row with me.
Yeah, I'm surprised about that, because the last time I did get on Twatter Death Row, I got on a 12-hour.
No, Twatter Death Row, you're gone. You're never coming back.
Oh, no, I'm on Twatter. I mean, I was on Twatter prison for 12 hours for that one.
That's Twatter jail, honey.
Yeah.
You got to do 30 days in the hole to get to the prison level.
No, well, the first time, look, this is my second account. I created an account last year, and I wanted to get banned because I got so sick of the insanity. I got into an argument with some pathetic loser who was angry about the First Amendment, and when I told her she was stupid, she said that I said all Native Americans were stupid. I was like, no, I said that you were stupid, and the fact that you're not supporting freedom of speech, that broke me. I was like, you got to be kidding me. There are these snot-nosed children who don't understand or value freedom of speech. And so I started basically posting everything I can possible that I wasn't supposed to post, mostly about Trump and the election, and
I love it.
and the jab and a whole bunch. And I didn't get banned. It was so annoying.
I love
See,
you.
and that's amazing. That's it's one of the things that always got to me is like, oh, you said one thing against one person. That must mean you hate a whole demographic of people who may or may not have something in common with that one person. And no, maybe it just means I think you're an asshole. You know?
And
I
she's
It's
an
can't
asshole.
personal.
have it, so-
Yeah. You know,
But
it's like, no. It's personal. It's not general.
yes, I literally and at one point the person didn't know what it was like. Actually criticized my grammar because I was like, wait a minute, I made like one stupid mistake, and she's like, you did. I was like, yeah, that's when they don't have any argument when they criticize your grammar, or when they
Yeah.
start calling you alt right, or they start calling you, or if they start attacking you personally. I've learned that the moment, don't waste your time arguing with them about why you are or aren't alt right. Just ignore it. So I've learned to every time they call me alt right, I completely ignore it and just go for the point I was trying to make.
Who was that said, if you can't pound on the facts, pound on the table?
Nikolai. God damn it. Premier of Russia. Yes.
If the law ain't with you, who can be?
Nikolai not Ceausescu. Damn it. He was
Ceausescu was in Romania, dude.
Yeah, you're right. The premier of Russia that Gorbachev took over from.
Well, one of my big issues just is the fact that they're forcing us to think, like with the dead naming thing. You're forcing us to accept, and it's like I don't take kindly to you telling me how to think or what to say. I mean, people say nasty things about me. I don't say, no, it was Tim Russ who was talking about how the N word had been increased in usage. And I'm like, so what? There's a lot of hate against Muslims. I don't go around censoring them. I don't go around censoring you for saying stupid shit. Just I don't know.
Right.
The saying is, if you have the facts on your side, pound on the facts. If you have the law on your side, pound on the law. If you have neither the facts nor the law, pound on the table.
On the table. Yeah.
That's good.
Who was it though?
It doesn't say. It just says it's an old adage among lawyers.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah.
I didn't put my cell phone number into my Twitter account. I have an email account. I don't. I'm not, and I should have deleted my account first, but I removed TikTok off of my phone because that is a disgusting haven of mental illness and degeneracy.
I see you've been around recently.
Welcome to TikTok.
Oh dear God.
No, probably not.
TikTok is a cancer.
It is where the brainworms go to breed.
To think that children are watching this is horrifying.
And it gets better.
Oh, children aren't just watching it; children are making it.
That's yeah. It is.
And there's worse places out there.
Worse than TikTok.
Worse
yes.
than TikTok.
Where it seems to be, seriously, it seems like an advertisement for mental disorders. There are people going on around having how they have multiple. Some psychiatrists don't even believe that multiple personalities exist.
I haven't met that guy. But yeah. No, Reddit is absolutely the worst of the worst of the worst. Next up is TikTok, and then Twitter.
Where would you rank 4chan?
Well, so far down at the bottom. Like, yes, it's nasty, grungy trench rat shit, but at least it's, honest.
It's original trench rat shit.
Yes.
Well, maybe it's because I haven't touched on a lot. The only thing I've been on Reddit is Warframe related stuff. So I haven't really seen much on Reddit. So I don't know about the horrific things on Reddit. But TikTok, I spent an hour and a half on TikTok. The reason I was on TikTok was because you get all these YouTubers making videos commenting on TikTok ones. So you can't comment on the Quarterings video about some idiot who's saying stupid stuff on TikTok. You need to find the person. So I would try and find the person and tell them that you're an idiot. And finally, it was like, I saw some of these things on TikTok. Like, I found the woman who said white people aren't allowed to go to Black Panther, the Wakanda Forever. And I'm like, so first off, she's like, she was going on about if you're an ally. I'm like, well, I'm no ally to a racist bigot, so I'm not your ally. And then I'm like, well, the movie takes place in Africa. So technically, people who actually have a connection to Africa should feel more, because clearly you have no connection to Africa. You've been in America for your family's been in America for how many centuries, right? My family's from Africa. My grandparents, my literal family's right now in Africa. I've been to Africa. So are you going to buy me a ticket to the movie instead?
Well, they don't mean North Africans, and they certainly don't mean Afrikaners.
True.
Afrikaans.
So, just judging by all the hate that Mr. Musk is getting, lately, especially from the left, which is interesting because I thought they were all about African Americans, and he's an actual immigrant from Africa.
Yeah,
Right?
Hey, don't confuse them with facts.
He's got a point.
Wait, I have one question. What happened to Tim Russ?
Who?
The guy who plays Tuvok from Star Trek Voyager? Because,
I
wow,
don't know.
did Trump kick his puppy?
I haven't heard from him since, I don't know, when was the last time he was on television.
I seen him on TikTok, not TikTok, Twitter, and
Wow.
wow.
Yeah. I saw some shit from Marina Sirtis recently, but she was saying, well, I can't be a part of anything that Elon Musk and his cabal of deplorables is a part of. So I will stay on here for a few days to say goodbye, and then I'm gone. And I was like, well, all right, don't let the door hit you in your wide ass on the way out.
Hey, I'm with you. Hey, but no, because I saw Marina Sirtis and responded to that. I got tweets from Tim Russ. And
Really?
Yeah.
I'd pay for that kind of hate.
You go, girl.
I've just really, it's like, what did Trump do to this guy? Did Trump go to his home, kick his puppy, throw his stuff on the floor, make fun of him or something? Because he acts like Trump personally hated him.
Nah, he didn't. It wasn't anything that Trump did to him. He's been, he's a part of the whole Hollywood, cog machine. I don't know, cog's not the right word, but you know what I mean. I mean, he's part of that whole shebang of incestuous nastiness that comes from Southern California, and he's been involved in that for decades. I mean, if you go and you pay attention to black men in Hollywood in the last, say, 40 years, right? All of the ones who at one point in time appeared on screen in a dress have made it big.
Wait, in a dress?
Yeah.
Yep.
Wait, yes, a man
Chris
in a
Tucker,
dress?
Will Smith. Yeah.
Wait, Will Smith was in a dress?
On an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, yes.
Okay. All right.
They require them to humiliate themselves to become part of the club, and if they do that, if they show willing, then they're allowed to. But they got to keep that pretense up. They got to protect the people who are fucking making them big. Otherwise,
they managed to get Patrick Swayze into a dress.
Yes.
Yeah, and Wesley Snipes in the same damn movie.
And Wesley Snipes in the same damn film. You're correct.
That happened.
And what happened? And what happened with Wesley Snipes right after that?
Hasselhoff.
Blade.
Yep.
So yeah, he and he made a bunch of money. Of course, then he didn't pay any of his taxes. But
Passenger 57 became inmate 57.
Yeah. It's yeah, and when Boa says red, he means
Communist.
hammer its sickle red. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we knew that's what he meant.
Yeah. No.
I think that's a word that needs to make a comeback in today's lexicon. Pinko.
You'd be banished off of existence immediately. Dude, I can't even put Caucasian in as a Twitter name. Just period. I'm sitting there listening to y'all thinking, well, there's are problems I don't have.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just I don't think we should be restricting free speech. I don't believe anybody should be. I think the commies should have their say too. I really do.
I agree. But that's the problem with us. We believe in freedom of speech. And I know Tim Pool's a bit, but that's one of his criticisms about Twitter is that the right believes in freedom of speech. That means everyone should be allowed to speak. The left thinks that the right needs to be shut up, and that's the problem. We're willing to accept everybody, even the ones with their bullshit, garbage, nonsense, like Tim Ross. Whereas they don't want us. So if they want, that's the problem.
Like Tim Russ, like Tim Pool.
Well,
part of it has to do with people trying to pull the ladder up behind them.
Well,
that whole thing. I was Raise Your Fist did a pretty damn good video on McCarthyism. Actually, I'd suggest checking it out. It has a lot of factual information in it that I wasn't aware of. But yeah, I believe that whole movement didn't go anywhere near far enough.
Well, Shadow just put it perfectly under
Good
Muggsy.
evening, Muggsy.
Hey, Muggsy. Right underneath Muggsy's what he says. We believe that everyone matters. These people believe only they matter. And that's the problem.
Sure. Yeah.
Unless you hurt kids, then you don't matter at all, and I will use you for fertilizer.
Flag on the play. No lives matter. We are all equally fucking worthless.
I've got an election T-shirt that says that.
Yes, I want that shirt.
Well, it's got you know how they always do up like an elephant or a donkey, and they like the top half is like, blue with stars in it, and the bottom half is like stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, this was like that, but it was Cthulhu.
Yes. You're talking about Magon.
So, yeah, Cthulhu 2020, No Lives Matter.
And
I wore that. I wore that at the polls on the on election day, in the 2020 election.
Well, I said all lives matter. It just doesn't mean I don't. But it doesn't mean I don't think you aren't batshit crazy.
No, Muggsy, you don't matter either. Sorry. Well, not sorry, but
I mattered once. I got better.
Oh, good.
She turned me into a newt. A newt?
A newt.
Well, I got
You
better.
thought you were a horny toad. Sorry.
So, a little bit of
I don't know that line.
That's a little bit of Monty Python for you guys.
I've never seen that one. I know of the line, but I've never seen the movie. Hey, Bernie!
Welcome to the show.
Guess who's back? Sorry.
Spock, you know what? I don't believe I have yet. No. I will keep an eye out for that. You might actually my email's on my about page, man. Send it there and I'll be sure to see it there. So yeah. Don't mind, we don't matter. Yeah. That's pretty good.
That is really good.
So yeah, that said, it just, I don't know. I don't really think I have anything constructive to say. Like I said the other night on what was it? I think I was commenting last night actually in Royal Rumble's chat. I said, I am the black pill.
Oh, what
not for me.
Yeah, well, Shadow of Hawk 55 has decided he's going to compile a list of titles for me.
Yeah.
Among them, Master of the Box.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are you going to include Click Commander?
We might have to do that. So, but yeah, he's it keeps getting longer, this list of his. So,
okay. It's
as as a special thank you to Shadow the Hawk. $20 is $20.
You're welcome.
And you're
bro.
on your way to getting an Xbox.
Oh man, Shadow. Sorry about that, but I did
No,
tell you when
you're
we
not.
got the thing when Kohai made that it was here to stay, and I am going to milk it for all it's worth because I think it's fucking hilarious.
You're not
And that's
sorry
really
at all. Don't lie to the boy.
Carrie's right. I'm not sorry.
No, but the one with which one? What was the other one? There were two of them that we did for him.
Yeah, the other one had him looking suave with sunglasses and a crown.
Oh yeah,
Actually,
the thug
I
one.
think Carrie got mad because they were the same sunglasses that his avatar wears.
Yes. Yes, I don't give me my fucking glasses back. I'm here, bitch. Let's go.
Yeah, sure.
I don't fucking know what that means, dude.
I think that's Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I
That's
didn't
the
watch that shit.
Mexican
Me
himself.
neither.
So
That's not exactly something to brag about, Shad.
right.
Just saying.
I wasn't gonna say that, but okay.
Even I've never seen a whole Game of Thrones, and I know being knighted by Joffrey is a pretty bad sign in life.
It's
Hey.
certainly one of those things that'll make you question your life decisions.
Question: I would find a permanent solution to my temporary problem in that event.
well, I don't like I said, I didn't watch any of that, didn't read any of those books. Frankly, I think George R.R. Martin stole everything from Tolkien and then twisted it until it was black and rotten.
Yeah, well, he fucked it all in its ass.
Yeah. And threw in a bunch of incest for, I don't know. I guess they say, they say that writers write what they know.
Oh God! Oh God!
I'm not making insinuations here. I'm just, I'm just putting
No,
that
you
out there.
flat out
Planting
said he
seeds.
fucks his sister in the ass.
Yeah.
But I write a lot of stuff where I try to learn about it so I could write it. So I don't always write what I know. I also tend to write a lot of straight guys. I'm not a straight guy. I just tend to write a lot of straight guys.
You know what's funny? So Clive Barker, the guy who authored the
Wait a
Hellbound
second, I want to bite on this.
which later became Hellraiser. Hold on a second. He is a very gay man. He's been with the same partner for like 50
Really?
years, right? Yeah, a photographer named David something or other. Anyway,
No,
so
nothing.
they've been together for decades and decades, right? And he's gay as it gets. Writes straight characters beautifully. Cannot write a gay relationship to save his fucking life. They're always two-dimensional and boring. But his straight characters are really rich, and well developed and three-dimensional. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Oh, well, I mean, like I said, I write straight. I mean, I tend to right now. I'm writing a lot of Band of Brothers, guys serving together. I mean, it's Warframe and the Corpus, but they're all guys who are heroic, serving together in basically a future kind of military. And I haven't yet. I'm trying to write at least one or two female characters, but I like writing guy. I guess because I write.
Well, you gotta do like Jack Nicholson did in As Good as It Gets. You take a man, you think of a man, and you take away reason and accountability.
But I have reason and accountability.
See, I write about disturbed socio and psychopaths.
But the fun thing about writing, and I think one of the problems with Hollywood is the fact that writing stuff you don't know it's more fun and challenging. I mean, I've mentioned I have several characters who are very different than me. I have an autistic child prodigy who hoards food.
So I guess Bernie wants to get pissed on by dogs.
Could have guessed.
I identify as a multi-billionaire. Can I now go and buy myself a car, a Tesla? I want a Tesla.
Why would you want a Tesla?
I don't know, just because everyone is going on about it right now. So, but normally I wouldn't want a Tesla. I don't like Teslas. I don't even want a Prius. I want, you know what I want? I want a goddamn pickup truck that guzzles gas. Like a real car. None of these semi-electric vehicles where the company can come in and to alter it using Wi-Fi. I want a 20-year-old pickup truck that doesn't have a goddamn computer in it because I don't want anyone hacking my goddamn car.
Good to see you, Luke Astley. Thank you for stopping by. And by the way,
Woo!
yeah, thank you for reposting that information from last night. Which, by the way, I'm gonna go over real quick again here. So I did a short solo stream last night under my "Whispering in the Dark" tag about a woman in Wyoming who went missing about 6 to 8 months ago, and they're still looking for her and all that stuff. So if you go back to that video, it's got all the links in it that have the information for it. The GoFundMe for her family's continued search, the phone number for the local police department who's looking into the matter, phone number for Crime Stoppers for any information regarding that. All of that stuff is in the description of last night's video.
That's
And if
great.
at the very least, if you guys wouldn't mind, maybe share that out, share the link out
Okay.
for it, try and get some awareness for it, because it's obviously people go missing all the time, and it's really unrealistic to expect that we can find every single one of them, but maybe we
Yeah.
can help find one, right?
Okay.
Absolutely.
Though on the list, I just have to say, no, I don't need a Segway. I have legs that work. Why would I need a Segway?
They're fun.
You can use them to run down people.
Not really, but okay.
Really slow people, maybe.
Well, I was thinking about the people sleeping on a sidewalk. You just thump, thump.
Yeah, you
Hey,
can do that.
that was me. So let's not get carried away.
You wouldn't carry it away. It would be riding.
Yeah.
Right. Let's not ride away.
No, well, all right, but I want a vehicle that when the shit hits the fan, and I'm not going to use the whole Patriot Supply when the peanut butter hits the fan. Seriously, that is so stupid. I'm sorry. You're supposed to be Patriot Supply. You're supposed to be looking serious, and you're like, when the peanut butter hits, no. But I want something that when that happens, my car can ram through people, whatever the hell, lefty zombies, and they cannot get my stuff. I
Oh,
want
you
a
want
vehicle.
shuttle buses.
No, I want a truck. Trucks are cool.
Shuttle buses are what they used in Dawn of the Dead.
Or a Jeep. No, I want a Jeep.
Okay, well,
What you want is a 1987 Suburban with
Yes.
a barn rear end.
With a sharpened
Mama
cow
plays
catcher on the front.
Well, the reason
You
I
can
like
do whatever
trucks.
you want to the front end of it. You put a 454 in that thing, it'll go anywhere you want.
Well, the thing is, I'm short, so I want something that's high up.
Anyway,
That's why.
Okay, so we're back to the Suburban.
Yep.
Though Suburbans tended to be, at least the earlier ones, tended to be a little top heavy and pretty easy to flip over.
That depends on how you built the suspension and how tall your tires were.
Okay, good to know. Because I still have Mama Carey's. One of these days when I have any money at all, I'm going to rebuild the engine, and put her back on the road.
Why was it parked?
All I know is I don't want a vehicle that they can hack and shut down on me, or suddenly lock the doors and start driving it to wherever they want it to go. So none of these cars with computers in them. And I like computers, but I don't want a computer in my car.
Because my mom passed away, Squatch.
And that's the only reason it hasn't moved?
Yes,
Okay. It can be resuscitated fairly easily.
I know. $14,000. Yeah. She will be. She'll be back on the road. Okay, next subject.
All right, so as long as we're on downers here,
Yeah.
here we go. Yeah, this is an article from PsychReg. It is about a year old, a little over a year old, almost 2 actually. That's one of the top articles that have come up in my search regarding the subject. And I believe this is true. and actually, it was something that I don't remember exactly what it was that you said. It was something you said on one of your streams, Carrie, that got me thinking about the connection between the proliferation of SSRIs in our society and the increase in violence and outbreaks of violence, particularly, in schools and malls and that sort of thing. And because, I've got my own experience with SSRIs and how, that works. But and I had, it's like, how you sometimes, like, you've got all the pieces in the back of your head for years, but you don't quite make the connections until somebody says one offhand thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that's more or less what happened. And so it started looking into this because I think that is true. I think the more we dope up our kids, especially with selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors or SSRIs, the more prone we are going to be to these kinds of things. So yeah, thoughts, anybody?
Well, let me just.
Absolutely.
I knew somebody a couple of years back, and he had a 5-year-old. And at one point, he comes to me, and he's like, "I'm very worried about my 5-year-old. They're telling me she's bipolar, and they want to put her on drugs. She's 5. If she didn't behave like she was bipolar, then there might have been something wrong with her. You want to put her on antipsychotic drugs at 5."
Well, yeah, is it antipsychotics?
I
Because
think
that's actually a
bipolar
different.
is-
Yeah,
I
because
thought
that's
I
actually a
remembered.
different class of drugs than SSRIs.
But it's still, it isn't just SSRI.
I don't care.
On so many drugs that it is insane.
Right. No, and I agree with you. I don't think we should be doping up kids at all. I realize that there are probably certain outstanding cases, outliers, where medication actually provides more of a benefit than a detriment. But in general, I think we're fucking up entire generations this way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to mute my mic for a little bit. And I want to hear Cat and Squatch talk first.
When it comes to the mental stability of a generation, you have to look to the generation that begat it. You're talking about flower children and hippies that begat a generation of, I don't know what you'd call them. What did they do?
Us Gen Xers, we were the generation that didn't give a fuck about anything.
Just did not care. Didn't vote, didn't register, didn't get jobs for the most part.
Didn't get out of bed most of the time.
Didn't, right?
I don't know. I had a job when I was 16.
Well, I had a job the whole time. Different at different times. So, but anyway, the medication that has become largely not just available, but promoted and subsidized by not only the federal government, but also the medical establishments as their primary cash cow and profit generating products. It's not healthcare, it's drug procurement.
Well, I watched a documentary a while back about this, and they were talking. It's not just SSRIs. It's your child doesn't sit as still as they want. Immediately they're diagnosed with ADHD, even though it could be numerous other factors that could be making them hyper, like their diet, like the fact that when they come home they sit in front of a screen instead of going outside.
The fact that they're
play.
children.
The fact that they're also just children in general. But now they have, so these kids are so, the fact that some guy was serious about giving his 5-year-old bipolar medication, or the fact that they're giving puberty blockers to kids, they are putting so many drugs into kids. And when I was a kid, I can't think of, no, we played outside. I don't think we even heard about ADHD for the most part, because no. When did this ADHD become such a fad?
It was early to mid 90s.
I want to throw a flag on the play. Mid to late 80s, because that's
mid
when
to late 80s. He's correct.
They came after me as ADHD, and it was something else entirely. We can talk about
it. It wasn't popular in like mainstream lexicon until the early 90s.
No, mid to late 80s. It was already becoming the thing.
That's the thing. I don't remember it when I was a kid.
Well, Kat, you're not that old. Okay. I mean, me and Squatch are old enough to remember what Carter. Squatch, do you remember Carter as president?
I'm allergic to peanuts, son. I live in Georgia, and Carter was president. You did the math.
Okay. And I'm old enough to remember Carter as president. In fact, I'm just barely old enough to remember the Iran hostage crisis. So,
Yeah, see, and I was born right at the tail end of Carter's term, right
really?
before Reagan was inaugurated. Yeah, I was born in '80.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I am the same age as the ultimate answer to the ultimate question of life, the universe, and everything.
Okay.
42.
That is correct, sir. Now, what's the question?
Well, did you get that part out?
Actually, no. I think what's the question is the question.
Well, I'm going to actually put something that
and
people are
is
going to
she the
find.
one? That and is she the one?
No, she's not.
Look, I'm going to say something that even my own parents don't agree with, but my own mother, who's dresses like me, doesn't agree with. Then most people are going to look at me like, okay, I'm an American. I was woman raised in America. I think it's one of the big problems we have is mothers not staying at home.
But wait, hold. She's not wrong.
I think that is a serious, serious problem. I remember growing up, my parents divorced when I was like 8 years old. And my dad didn't get remarried until I was 13. And then when he remarried, after a couple of years, my stepmother started working as well. And I remember being home for my little brothers, my half brothers. So yeah, I think one of the and my mom does not agree with that, which is funny. I'm more conservative than my parents. I think if there was a mother home and everyone's like, oh well, what if she's working when they're in school? No, because then it's cleaning the house, preparing things. So when the kids get home, you're there ready to take care of the kids. You're there to do activities with them, help them with school. And I think that is one major stabilizer. So the kids aren't sitting in front of a goddamn screen. When I was a kid, we weren't allowed to watch TV during the week, period. We didn't have cable TV until 2012. And that was like all of us were adults by then. So there was no TV during the week. And we hated it when I was a kid. We wanted cable like everybody else. But now I look back on it and I'm like, thank God my dad had that common sense because he didn't want to come home and sit in front of a television screen after a hard day at work. And that's the problem. You have kids sitting in front of screens with no mothers, with fathers who sit in front of a TV instead of taking care of the kids if the father is even around. If the father's even around, half the time there's no father around because nobody's getting married anymore.
Or the fathers are being driven off, or they weren't worth much to begin with, or they didn't stick around to find out that they had kids.
Or the wife didn't appreciate her husband. I mean, when it comes down to it, you need to respect and appreciate each other. And if the husband doesn't feel loved, if he comes home and there's no dinner served because the wife is off doing her own job, when instead of being at home taking care of the kids, and you know what? Making dinner so that the husband who's working his ass off has something for him, then yeah, I can understand why the husband would go running off. So yeah, I had a father who, like I said, my parents divorced when I was like 8. And my father raised us for several years as a single father. And he went out of his way to make sure he was home with us every moment he had free time, which is when he wasn't at work, he spent his time with us. So that's why I hate this whole belittling of fathers thing, because my father went out of his way to take care of us. Anyway, that's my piece on the whole thing. I think the drugs are just a way to deal with kids who are not being raised properly at home, because the kid is sitting in front of a screen, jumping around like a lunatic, or the kid is feeling depressed because they're sitting in front of a screen, or they're sitting in front of the internet, or they're sitting in front of Twitter, when you shouldn't be giving your kid a goddamn cell phone at 5 years old. Instead, you should be taking them off of TikTok, taking them off of the internet, and actually doing things other than having them sit in front of a computer or a screen. And so it's because we don't have mothers at home. We don't have family. That's my piece on the whole thing. I'm sorry for ranting.
No, you're good. And I agree. Carrie, what you
Yeah,
got?
you're good to go. First of all, she's not wrong. Second of all, okay, so the subject at hand though was SSRIs, right? So Samuel, you okay with me telling that story about the soldier?
What did I say at the top of the show, man?
Okay, all right. I'm ready to burn my house down from the inside. I don't like taking anybody else with me, but here we are.
Yeah,
So
well, this will
anyway,
be uploaded to Rumble soon enough.
cool. All right, so to the best of my knowledge and ability, this is a true story. There was a soldier in Afghanistan. He's in the middle of a war zone. He goes to the doctor, says, "Doctor, I'm having trouble sleeping." The doctor gives him a prescription, and he sleeps beautifully for a couple of days. And then a few days down the road, he's staring at the barrel of an M16 or an M240 or something. I don't know what. But anyway, thinking, I can do this. I can totally do this. He was about to blow his brains out. He takes a look at the bottle. The bottle is what they call off-label prescribed. That it's an antipsychotic that has a side effect of making you drowsy. What do antipsychotics do to normal people?
Make them psychotic.
It makes them psychotic. A few years back when I tried to quit smoking, I tried Chantix. It was about the time that at one point, I really snapped hard. So hard, I looked at my wife and I said, "I'm quitting the Chantix." She said, "Okay." Then I looked into it. Chantix came from an antipsychotic that had a side effect of getting people to not smoke so much. Oh, it's good to know that I was on an not antipsychotic, antidepressant. Antidepressant when I was not depressed. Gee, I wonder what made me so angry all the time. I'm lucky I caught that the way I did and said, "Wait a second, something here is not right." That guy's lucky he caught it because you know how many suicides in Afghanistan we now know are tied to those off-label prescriptions?
Do I even want to know? Because that's just tragic to think that they would do that to people in the
At least
military like that.
At least 75%. And
That
all
is
of those
just sick.
guys and all of those guys committed suicide, so they are not eligible for a military funeral. They are effectively a dishonorable discharge
That's
because they
just,
did literally exactly what they were told. And I better.
Oh, he just shut himself up. Well, you're not wrong, Carrie. Like what I highlighted here, these are the 5 like big SSRI antidepressants, and this is showing the results in tests of which ones increased aggressive behavior by percentage. The one that they tested me on is the second one, paroxetine, commonly known as Paxil.
Oh, nice.
Increases violent behavior 10.3 times. Now
How are
they're
you
doing.
not in prison?
How am I not in prison?
Yeah.
Because I quit doing this stuff and I almost died. Because as it turns out, it's also super addictive.
Nice.
And cold turkey quitting some of this stuff will nearly kill you if it doesn't outright. Although they tell you it's non-addictive. Of course, when I was on it, it hadn't received FDA approval yet. I was one of the test cases in the early 90s where they were telling parents that it had FDA approval, but we were really their guinea pigs.
oh
That's
God.
fucking awesome. That is outstanding.
So,
Your federal government, folks. There you go.
Well, and I, to be fair, like for a period of that time, I was a ward of the state. They took my parents' rights away from them and took control of me, and then they could do whatever they liked because a ward of the state has no rights. Your property.
Yeah.
That's just
Exactly.
messed up.
And I think I was 13 at that point.
You're basically a prisoner.
Yeah. Yeah,
in a
absolutely.
very, very large prison.
So, and
I
that's
mean, you might not be in a prison at all. You just have no rights and have no recourse. You cannot
Yeah.
redress.
so the long story short, Carrie, to answer your question, the reason I didn't end up in prison was because I eventually got myself off the stuff nearly at the cost of my own life. B, because I consciously made decisions that would lead me to not being in prison. And C, sheer fucking luck.
You know, a lot of luck.
I'll go with a lot of
If
luck.
Yeah.
if it can increase aggressive tendencies 10 times, and you were a 13-year-old male, I mean, I was a 13-year-old male.
I
Okay,
mean, I attacked a security guard who had 130 pounds on me
Oh God.
when
Yeah,
I
well,
was when I was
How'd that
13.
go?
I flat out assaulted him, and he then proceeded to beat the ever loving shit out of me, which I had coming, I will admit. But
okay.
like, that's not something I necessarily would have done, I think, if I had not been on this stuff. I mean, I might have, who knows? But I'm
Unlikely.
pretty, yeah. So, and it does. That I can't speak to a lot of these other drugs because I was never on them. What I was on was Paxil, and what I can say about that, the way that selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor is supposed to work is it's supposed to level out imbalanced chemicals and hormones in your brain, so that if you're feeling one way or another, it balances everything out, so it's nice and even, and you're on an even keel. That's not what it fucking does. What it does is it hones in on whatever it is that you're experiencing more of, and it locks you into that, and it cuts everything else off, so you can't feel anything but whatever the fuck you're on. And I was an angry kid to begin with. It's a nightmare fucking drug, and it should be outlawed.
I mean, there's a ton of stuff at this point that should be outlawed. What's the other one that's been fentanyl? Fentanyl. That one is killing so many people. I just know my brother at one point told me he did take an antidepressant. I don't know which one, but he said he found it was like the dumbest thing he ever did. He's like, it doesn't solve the underlying reason why you're taking it. It just makes you feel good. At least that's I don't know which one he took. I don't even know what we were talking about. But I remember him just saying that it made him feel good, but it never dealt with the underlying reason why.
It should be a life preserver, not a fucking boat, and they're using it as a cruise liner, complete with casino.
Right. And Boa, I'm glad you got to make that choice, man. I was a ward of the state, and I was court ordered. I didn't have a choice. If I told them I wasn't taking them, they would just shove them down my throat physically.
Nice. That's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
Well-
Minors have no rights. That's a fact.
Yep.
Well, yeah.
In some cases, I think that's a good thing. In other cases, I think there should be some recourse, but there isn't. But
There's no
yeah.
easy recourse.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Well,
Shadow,
back then, he
basically.
didn't have any recourse at all.
Yeah, and I think Kat's absolutely right. It does not solve the underlying issue. The underlying issue is still there. All it does is it's like hydrocodone, for example, used for pain medication, right? So hydrocodone is an opiate derivative, and it's very effective at pain management. And what pain management is, for those of you who don't really know, it doesn't make the pain go away. It makes you not care that it's there.
Exactly.
Well,
you still feel the pain, you just don't care anymore.
You just don't care about it or anything else.
And the way it's supposed to work is it takes enough of the pain off that you can get through the rest. You're still in pain, but you can get through the rest of your life. And that's not what they're doing.
It really works is you eat them like M&Ms until you're out, and then you go get more.
And then that's what they end up doing.
Yeah.
Whoa, you need a refill on your you just said the name.
Hydrocodone.
Hydrocodone? You need a refill? No problem. Oh, this is your 5th refill this month? Wow, you must be in a lot of pain. Maybe we should increase your dosage.
Right. And they'll do that up to a point, and then once you're addicted enough, they start dialing it back, or they start saying, oh, you're out of refills, or what have you, and then you're in a fucking world of hurt and you're addicted to something.
They hit me with the big chop. One Tuesday, I didn't get a refill. Had a refill. They didn't give it to me. Never did find out why.
I think that they're. This is gonna put on your tinfoil hats here, folks. I think they're preparing us for something.
No, I'm taking my tinfoil hat off. I am living proof that that is a thing.
You know what that is, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that they're either preparing us to be lined up and slaughtered, or to do the slaughtering.
Or both.
I have a theory, but I won't mention it on YouTube.
Okay.
I'll run it by you after the fact.
No worries. So yeah, it's yeah. Well, you know, of course I am, man. I'm always right. You know that.
Well, okay, whatever. Sam, I got a different story. This is probably the one you're thinking of, if it's from one of my lives. You know I have Tourette syndrome, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Before they realized I had Tourette's, they thought I had ADHD. This is around 86, maybe 85 even. Anyway, they had me on Ritalin at, I think, 1,000 milligrams a day, which,
Oh, whoa.
oh, yes. I remember that the doctor who prescribed it said that he was something like 2 or 3 times the recommend or the dosage for an adult, and here I am in junior high school. I remember that part, because I remember getting into a fight at lunch after coming out of Mrs. Thunberg's class. So anyway, flash forward a couple of years when it finally came. Hey, wait a second, let's look at this Tourette's thing again, and that doctor said, "Oh shit, I should have seen that all along." I was at least twice the legal limit for an adult dosage, and I was getting worse, not better. I'd get better for a week, and then after that, I'd go back to where I was and be worse still for the difference. And they couldn't figure out why.
Wow.
Yeah. Matter of fact, that's the context probably was how I snuck into the military. But yeah, that is exactly what they're doing. They're pumping you full of whatever drug is convenient and seems to work to make you an addict.
I think we've got a number of nerds in our chat. For comparison, think Ketracel White from Deep Space Nine.
Actually, I prefer the episode of Star Trek Next Gen with the farmers and the drug dealers.
You're both wrong.
Right.
You go with what was it, Stargate SG-1, where the crystal had an addictive effect that also kept you young.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
the sarcophagus for
The
that
sarcophagus. Yeah, it was.
Sarcophagus, yes, I know about that. I didn't catch the episode that you're talking about, though.
Well, the sarcophagus.
Like 6 or 7.
Yeah, the sarcophagus not only had an addictive effect, but over time it deteriorated your mental state and your conscience and your soul.
Mm-hmm.
Can we highlight that one by Yu Kagin about World War I? Yeah, that one. Dude, thank you. Dude, that is it. That is it. It's actually World War II morphine, but good enough for somebody without a history degree.
And by the way, you're not offending anybody here, Yue.
No, but on top of that, I believe that's what there was an article some time back where they're saying it's more profitable to keep people sick than to cure them. They
Yes.
don't want to cure you. That's why makes you wonder why they want you to keep taking an injection every year and somebody keeps pushing for it.
It's also a part of my theory that I won't speak of on YouTube.
You have got to start a Rumble or Local or something, Squatch.
All right. I might have a Rumble account that I haven't told anyone about.
Well, subscribe to my Rumble. I'll subscribe to yours. I'm trying to get to 100 on Rumble. Because I am now live streaming on Rumble as well as YouTube when I do live stream. Except with when me and Shadow, because I have Rumble. What is it? I have Streamlabs OBS Pro, which allows me to multi-stream, but StreamYards doesn't let me multi-stream because I'm not paying for multiple subscriptions.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And that said, Cat's Rumble link is also in the description of this video, and so is mine. Hint, hint. And I am not streaming currently on Rumble because I'm again doing the trying to get to 100 subscribers thing rather than shell out any cash, because right now it's just not in the budget. If it becomes in the budget, I might just skip the line and do that. But right now that's not in the budget. So we're trying to get to 100 so that we can simultaneously stream on YouTube and Rumble. That way, if I get kicked off of YouTube, I'm still up on Rumble. Currently, everything that I put out on this channel is being uploaded to Rumble. It takes a little while. It takes about 12 hours after the stream ends before it's good to go on there. So this one will be up there as well. And links in the description for that. And Squatch, if you want me to put your link, your Rumble link in the,
I don't even know my Rumble link.
Okay.
Oh wait,
fair enough.
I'm wrong. Actually, the live stream me and Shadow did is on Rumble. It's because it was on my YouTube channel. So while it wasn't live streaming on Rumble, because it eventually gets uploaded to YouTube as a video, it ended up on Rumble. So it is there.
Sam, I gotta step away for just a second.
Copy. So, but yeah, no, we're trying to branch out into alternate tech because we know damn good and well that Mama Susan answers to Papa Google.
Yes. I'm actually metastasizing into other channels.
That's a good word for it. Descriptive.
I'm going to become a nuclear cockroach. Yep.
Oh yeah, there's also locals. I have a locals, but haven't used. Yeah, I heard about that, and she's like all about freedom of speech and all that. And then it's like, I mean, YouTube used to be so much more fun. All of the internet used to be so much more fun a couple years back, when you literally had some teenage girl on YouTube celebrating a certain World War II leader's birthday, and it was like, hey, you do you, boo boo.
It was a Wild West. It was glorious.
Yeah, it's like, just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I don't think you should say whatever the hell you want. Tim Russ was on Twitter talking about how the N-word was being used more than usual on Twitter, and I'm like, okay, sure, don't have a problem with it. Say whatever you want. It's freedom of speech. Hate speech is freedom of speech. Hate to break it to you. You hate Muslims? Go right ahead. I don't care.
Well, and the simple fact of the matter is, and I've said this many times, and I got this from my mother, so credit to her. In order to be offended, you have to take offense. It's a conscious fucking choice.
Yeah.
I cannot offend you unless you are willing to be offended. No matter what I say, there's nothing I can say that will force you to take offense.
I can do something that will force you to never take offense.
I mean, you're kind of offensive anyway, Kerry.
Well, besides that, I know something that will force you to never take offense to anything I could ever possibly call you.
So,
Late for dinner would offend me.
No, you'd be used to it. Boot
you know
camp.
what?
Say that again.
Boot camp.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. You get called things you didn't even know that word existed, and you have to look it up in a dictionary.
So let me just say what, though, I do have a problem with these idiots on Twitter. Like I said, I just saw someone going, being a Muslim woman, being a woman of color, you have to work 10 times harder. No, you don't. In fact, on the contrary, I find it also hilarious that the people who whine the most about being a victimized Muslim woman, you doesn't have Muslim, look at me. I can't hide the fact that I'm a Muslim woman. All right, no matter what I do, I can't hide it because I'm going to be wearing this. But this is a woman who, you look at her picture, you wouldn't know she's a Muslim woman unless she uses it to her benefit. She's like, I'm a Muslim woman and I'm such a... No, you're not. I hate these people so much. My father immigrated to this country ages ago, legally, when like nobody knew what a Muslim was, worked hard, didn't whine about it, and now you have all these whiny babies going, "Oh, it's so hard." No, grow up, grow a spine.
Or
You know,
just shut the fuck up.
Yeah, and speaking of offensive jokes and Muslims, so the other night on our Thursday show, Larry said something about you. He brought you, Kat, up. He said, doesn't she remind you of somebody who would be like in a mad scientist movie, like a worker in a lab, like mixing chemicals and stuff? And I was like, yeah. What I said to him was, yeah, I could see her blowing a bunch of shit up.
Nice. Oh man, no. The joke. So we had at my job, right? We have beverage, soda, right? And through some accident, some of the soda exploded, right? Something went wrong. So one of the guys asked me,
Afternoon.
I have to ask you, did you have anything to do with it? I'm like, no, because it would have been successful if I had something to do with it.
Yeah. Lean in. Always lean in.
So this is probably the most atrocious introduction I've ever had to a person. But I went to a Chinese restaurant here locally in town, and this is a fourth generation family. They've been here for almost a century, so it's not a new place, right? And I walked in, and the nice lady behind the counter says, "How many?" And I said, "Dose." And she got angry and turned and stalked off. But the 15, 17-year-old daughter leaned forward and said, "You know, we're not the ones who talk like that, right?" I said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm a terrible person. Just on the inside, I'm horrible." And she laughed so hard, she cried.
Nice.
You gotta have a sense of humor about things.
The mother was offended, but she dug it. She thought it was really funny.
Oh, Mom, get over it.
We had a toaster oven in the employee lounge, right? For toaster, right? So somebody burned something in the toaster. One of the assistant managers comes up to me and is like, "I gotta ask, did you have anything to do with it?" I'm like, "Nah, wish I did." I literally set the store on fire, which is the funniest thing. I'm the only person of all the employees who actually set the store on fire because we had a display and I put the wrong plug into the thing. So I go home for the evening and they're like, "Yeah, the display burst into flames." There were flames. They're like,
"Yeah." Got one.
It's like, so I am the only one who could actually say, "Yeah, I set the store on fire."
I was working for a power plant. And I was working with a bunch of immigrants. And I mentioned that I had some freshly canned habanero pepper salsa that I had made that nobody could eat. And they asked me to bring one. So I brought one of the jars of habaneros, and they ate them standing in the parking lot with their breakfast burritos. The whole jar. Everybody got a scoop. It was gone. So the next day I brought about 10 jars and gave them out like candy. One of which ended up in the break room. Someone thought it was relish. No. Someone called an ambulance, and then the GBI showed up. And then they were questioning Sasquatch about why he was bringing chemical weapons into a federally protected state. But here's the most beautiful part. While they were questioning me, a line of immigrants lined up out of the break room and ate every bit of the evidence.
Oh, Jesus.
It was beautiful.
White guy can't do. Let's see.
It's like I'd love to save some of this for your evidence locker, but it's just so damn good.
Dude, they eat that stuff up. What gave me the idea is I saw one of them take some pepper spray out of a bag and squirt it into a burrito and wrap it up. And I was like, I got something about that hot. They ate that stuff up. They thought it was great.
No, he's right. Pepper spray is about that hot. And guess what asshole tried it?
You did?
Yes, and it was great.
I don't need to try pepper spray. I canned some shredded peppers, like habaneros. Like this was ungodly. I cleared out the whole. Dude, I had roaches running out of that house. when I was canning it, because it was off gassing so much of the stuff. I was in there with like a mask. It was hardcore, dude. My mom was so mad.
I'm sure she was.
She was pissed, dude.
Oh yeah, no. So that's that brings us around to what we were getting at with the drug talk. Just I'm gonna post the link to this article in the description after the stream is over, so y'all can go through and read it. It's pretty lengthy, and it does get into some stuff about like, oh, how does this tie into like gun control measures and all that. There's that kind of lefty slant to it,
man.
but I think the statistics that they provide in relation to the drugs and the incidents themselves are actually accurate. So it does have some good information in there. So we'll post a link to that so everybody can go through it. I'm not going to read the whole thing here. It'll take fucking 2 hours, because we'll stop every like 10 seconds and nitpick and all that shit. But which I'm fine with doing. I just, let's talk about some more fun stuff. Halloween's on Monday.
Hold up. Alexia, no, you weren't wrong. You were absolutely right. You got to do it again.
Well, you don't spray it in your eyes. You put it on your sandwich.
But no, what's interesting
And
is
you
I
build up.
said I did see a documentary and they talked about some school shooter kids who were using those drugs, and this was years ago. I was watching a documentary about the drugs they put in kids, and I think it was in SSRI that they put in the kid, and no one talked about that fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Which
well,
school
like
shooter?
you go back far enough, man. I think it was Dylan Klebold, but it might have been Eric Harris. One of the two of them at Columbine was on fucking antidepressants.
Yes, one of them.
Yes,
You know,
that's the one.
I don't remember which one, but one of them was. And I think for every major school shooting since then,
Absolutely.
the
was
perpetrator
still-
has been on something.
Yeah.
You know, this is kind of like the same sort of correlation you see with people who have made assassination attempts all the way up through the 80s. From a certain period to a certain period, they all had a copy of Catcher of the Rye on them.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's some weird shit.
Did not
You know,
know
and that book by itself, there's nothing like particularly offensive or noteworthy about that book. It's an okay book. It's not great. It's not bad.
It's not a great book. It's kind of a doofy 13-year-old mental adventure book. It has nothing to do with anything at all, but the conceptual narrative within it is completely broken and psychotic.
Yeah. So, you know, but like all those guys, was it John Hinckley that shot Reagan?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a copy of it. Sirhan had a copy of it. I think.
Sirhan had 3.
Yeah. I think the guy who shot Robert Kennedy had one. You know, or that was Sirhan. I'm getting them mixed up, but yeah, the point is like a bunch of guys from a specific period of time all had a copy of this book. Well, a bunch of guys from a specific period of time, the last 30 years, say, all have been on these kinds of drugs when they go into fucking places where people are vulnerable, like schools or movie theaters or malls, and start laying waste.
And
another thing that's been uncommunicated from these people who have done these types of events is the previous few weeks leading up to the event. There are all kinds of red flags in almost every case. It's very rare that a person actually managed to get that far without somebody going, someone should check that kid out.
Yeah.
I want to hit on you.
I think so. Yue?
Okay, sexy. What do you want to say?
Like, think Japanese.
Yue, bear with me. You can call me Kari, okay? Can we go back to that comment?
Which one?
This one?
Antifa. Yeah, that one. All right. So what about all the Antifa crazies with Mein Kampf and crap? Mental illness tends to attract more of itself. All right.
Also,
Hitler was mentally ill, and mentally ill people can make sense of mentally ill people.
Does that mean that everybody in Antifa has syphilis?
Well, yeah, I'm not sure if it was syphilis
It's
or not.
probable.
Hair.
Probably,
Why do
given
you
how
think
they
the chances are
behave.
high?
Mentally, believe it or not, because of my PTSD, I can kind of make sense of Mein Kampf. I can see, yeah, oh, he was going there. Okay, and now I'm still mentally not ill enough for it to really make sense, but at least I can follow his track line. And no, he was granted parole, Boa. I'm sorry. It's bullshit, and it is what it is.
It's essentially eugenicism. It's
Yeah.
classic eugenicism, and there's really no other way to describe it. It's social eugenicism, class-based eugenicism. I'm not sure how to put it. Eugenics.
Yeah.
That was the basis of all of that.
Agreed. A slightly off topic. I was having a conversation with someone the other day about the bad Austrian and his girlfriend Ava, and we were discussing whether or not what is commonly accepted as what happened in that bunker is what happened. You know, and she brought up the point. She's like, you don't think that that Ava was in full control of her faculties? And I was like, well, she was banging a dude with syphilis, so I doubt it.
Right? Unlike
You know.
Or she had it too and didn't care.
Yeah. I mean,
I
at that point, yeah.
If you got HIV, you're going to sleep with somebody who has HIV because it's not going to do any more damage.
Right. Right. You know,
Yeah,
but I mean, his is far gone enough that he thought it was a good idea to open up a second front in fucking Russia.
Oh, God.
never,
You know, historically,
never,
that never works.
Don't
Yeah.
do that. Basically, just leave them the hell alone. They don't bother nobody as long as you don't poke them.
You know, that's been something that I've noticed historically about land war in Russia. Anytime they get invaded, Napoleon did this shit, Hitler did this shit, other people have done this shit in the past. The Rus Vikings did it. Anytime that the Slavic Russian people are confronted with an invading force, that whole area of the world sucks. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's just, you know, climate wise, in terms of arable land, all that stuff. It's just, there's a lot of unpleasantness going on. They're already used to suffering on the daily. So what they do is they burn all their shit down and they retreat. And they're like, fine, we can't have it. You can't have it either. Cause it's not like we can suffer anymore. But you know, the longer your supply lines get, the more fucked you are.
They'll stretch your supply lines to right outside of Moscow and then burn you down.
But on top of that, he had signed a treaty with them. They'd agreed not to attack each other, and then he goes and he betrays him. It's like, dude, why'd you do that? Why'd you do that?
Well, that was one of them was going to betray the other eventually.
That's
The
true.
two different forms of socialism don't mix. That's a common little known fact. Socialists of different stripes don't actually like each other or get along with each other, and eventually will turn on each other. Yeah. So,
but I got to throw a flag on the play. Russia does start wars.
I didn't say they don't start wars. I said as long as you don't poke them, they basically screw with themselves.
Yeah, I got to throw a flag on that play. We can argue about that later, but I got to throw the flag on the play.
Now, I wasn't speaking of like current Russia. I was talking historically. Every time they've been invaded, all they've done is just like destroyed all of the potential resources that you could live off the land from and retreat.
It's true.
You know, which is a very sound tactic in a very barren part of the world.
Mm-hmm. If you're not used to living there, it will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
That was their plan if the U.S. ever invaded in World War III. They had nukes. They were prepared to use them, but their first plan was to burn everything in our path and then let us trudge right into Russian winter. And our plan was not to trudge into Russian winter. We were going to take like 5 major cities, which one of them is in the news right now. I'm just saying. And then say, okay, you can have the rest of it. This is the new border. And if you think you can take it back, you're welcome to try. And A-10s flying overhead would have had an influencing, would have had a strong influence on their decision of whether to try to take that back or not.
Yeah, I don't know. I just all I know is that and I don't know. All I know is that and you can argue with me on this, but no winter in the world is worse than Russian winter. And I say this because I realize there are places that, where it's colder. I realize there are places where you get more in the way of stormy weather. The reason that Russian winter is the worst winter in the world is because not only is it frigid,
It's full
not
of
only is
Russians.
it horrible, but it is full of fucking pissed off Russians.
And
Now,
flat
Bears.
land.
yeah,
Good fields of fire.
yeah. I mean, you know why Russians are generally grumpy? Look at where they live.
He's not wrong.
Yeah, no, they're just pissed, and
That's
it
a
makes
literal
sense.
thing.
Right, because like it gets way colder in certain parts of Canada, right? But all Canada has is fucking Canadians.
And they're all
True.
sorry.
You know?
Yeah.
If you don't like Canadians, that's okay. You're wrong. If Canadians don't like you, that's okay. You're wrong.
And they're sorry about it.
And they're sorry about it. Yeah.
They're very, very polite about it. You're not going to get politeness from a Russian in wintertime.
I've heard a horror story. Y'all want to hear a scary story I heard about a Canadian?
There is
Scariest
one.
thing I've ever heard, man. Most
Sure, it's in the
terrifying
spirit
thing.
of the season.
He didn't say thank you.
It was an unapologetic Canadian that doesn't eat beer and hates poutine. Most terrifying thing I ever heard of.
Wow.
No, he's right.
I was gonna say, I thought you were gonna bring up Justin Trudeau. That guy's horrifying.
It does not compute.
You don't like Canadians,
Right? It's not even Canadian, is it? It's like somewhere American.
Did he at least say hoser?
Honk honk.
Hey,
I'm gonna, it's like most Americans, my first thought when I think of Canadians is that movie Strange Brew. Hey, we're gonna go down and we're gonna play some hockey, eh? Maybe drink some beer later, you hosers.
okay, Alexia. If a Canadian is pissed at you, you're wrong. It's that simple.
Yeah. We understand that
actually
Canadians are
missed
just
it.
like everybody else. They got good Canadians, you got bad Canadians, you got friendly ones, you got not friendly ones, just like everywhere else. It's just the national reputation of that country tends to be very polite and non-standoffish, and it's a very easy target to make fun of, which is what we're doing.
Well, and there is a grain of truth to it, and there's a reason there's a grain of truth to it, and
Stereotypes are stereotypes for a reason.
Yeah.
yes.
You don't
Well-
invent a stereotype. Stereotypes are created by a general amalgam of a given circumstance, whatever that circumstance might be.
Yeah, see, UA, the new Canadians you referred to are led by a man named Trudeau, as I'm sure you know. And Trudeau is not actually Canadian; he's secretly Cuban.
You're not wrong.
He's not wrong.
And the
Oh.
Cubans, as we know, are a fiery and colorful people.
And you know what? Fuck.
And if his lineage is
love
what I
this
think it is,
Susan.
he's also a Castro. So, I mean,
We love you, Susan. No, it's
who's this
true.
weed
And
fucker?
there's
Is a mouse in your pocket?
oh no, Squatch. You know the proper response to "We love you, Susan." So don't give me that shit. But moving right along. Yeah, no, there's an actual reason why Canadians are the way they are. It's a stereotype, and it's true. And unfortunately, if the Russians had developed along the same line, we'd be saying this about them. But they didn't. And okay, sorry. Too bad, so sad. Canadians learned, you didn't. Shrug.
What's
I've
going to be
actually
real
got
funny
him-
is when the Third World War actually happens, and then Russia invades Alaska, and they take Alaska, and then they invade Canada. That'll be something to behold. I think I would like to see how the Canadians defend against that.
They will kill every fucking last one of them. But they will say, please excuse me, sir, while I bayonet you. And if you, well, okay, not quite like that.
Yeah, and
They'll
again,
apologize after
guys,
you're dead.
Again, guys, I'm just making jokes. I'm fully aware that the Canadian military is a capable one.
Wait, what?
There are stories from World War One. Germans who swore they saw this happen. Is the Canadians bayoneted their men and said, "Excuse me," as they're coming down into the trenches, literally beating Germans to death. I'm not even joking. Go ahead and laugh, but it's true.
Nah, but I'd be like, "Hi, how are you?"
Well,
I don't know.
you're not Canadian.
Something tells me they're setting this up for when they really need it. So, like, if the Russians do invade, everyone thinks that Canadian. So then the Canadians will be like, "You expected us to be friendly. You expected us to be nice. You stepped into our country. You ain't stepping out again."
And that is exactly what will happen. They will. Yeah. Don't start shit with Canadians. They're nice people. They will fucking kill you with a smile. And they'll do it nicely. They did it.
Well, it's too bad you bent my grill too much there, eh?
Kind of.
Let's go make some maple syrupy.
Yeah, you come in for a drink, eh?
And then
Look,
we'll
look.
the tree as fertilizer. Eh?
It's great.
It's funny to you, eh? Not your buddy, guy.
Not your guy, friend.
I'm not your friend, pal.
Oh, Solo and Squatch made me rant about that on a stream a couple months ago. Well, it wasn't a rant; it was an explanation. But yeah, yes.
What?
Don't fuck with Canadians. All right, they will. No, you won't be going out at all. That's the thing.
They'll take you out with diabetes.
Body.
Is that why insulin costs so much?
Because they're assholes at heart.
They are, no, they are.
Good luck.
Guys, Canadians are all psychopaths, but they are nice psychopaths.
Oh, I think I shit myself a little bit. That was good.
All right, I'll withdraw all previous statements. I disavow. Canadians are great.
I'm good.
Well,
I can get away
is
with
an
it.
amazing Canadian, and Viva Fry is an awesome Canadian. I love Viva Fry. Though he's
Oh,
not. I don't know if you'd consider him a Canadian anymore since he's now in Florida.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, he's
And
still
by the way,
Canadian.
You're talking to somebody who's part Canadian.
How are you part Canadian?
My grandmother was Canadian, and that passed to my mother. That passes to me.
Like HPV?
Are you apologizing, Carrie?
No, I'm telling you the truth, and that's why sometimes you can see a little bit of a psychopath come out.
You sure that's not the American part? I mean, like,
Well, that's a good. Okay, that's a fair question. That is a fair question. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, like Kat was
Yes, we
saying,
do.
there are good Canadians. We know good Canadians. We love good Canadians. We have a few in our chat here. Bo is notably a Canadian. We love that guy.
Yeah.
actually, come to think of it, I can't prove Canada actually exists.
Shut the fuck up.
It exists in the same weird like nether realm that Australia does.
And you can kiss my ass.
I mean, it sounds like a mythical place, a place where everyone's nice and everyone's represented. I'm not sure I buy it, dude.
Well, that's
It's
because
fictional. Sounds like a utopia.
because it kind of is.
You get it.
They will slit your throat ear to ear, but they will do it nicely. So don't give them an excuse, and they won't do it.
Yeah.
Okay, true story, sea story. Me and my unit tied up in Toronto, Canada. We went to a bar. I don't even remember the name. Everything's going great, and Squatch, I'm going to pick on you for a sec.
Awesome.
MK3 Squatch was on the dance floor with two girls. Everything's going great and perfect and wonderful, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the one girl slaps him.
What? With a voice like that, who would slap him?
Well,
Baby,
yeah.
welcome
Anyway,
to the cool side of the pillow.
I found out later He made an indecent proposal to her.
I probably did.
And yeah, well, you did. And yeah, we were all like, yeah, you had it coming to you, bro.
I
What the
probably did.
what the fuck were you thinking? And then as we're trying to get him home, he's carrying 2 beers, asking every single person, "Hey, is this okay? Hey, is this okay?" So the cop, this is the meanest thing I've ever seen a Canadian do. Grabbed him, tossed him against the bulkhead, said, "Come here, stupid," because he'd been watching us for like a couple of minutes, waiting to see what would happen, and then he actually let Squatch walk home after throwing the beer in the trash. Don't piss them off. Don't do something to make them want to hurt you, because
That's my
will hurt
beer.
you. It's that nice thing, keeping down that that psycho side.
Whereas Americans are just stubborn, rebellious, which I'm proud of. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that stubborn, rebellious. Yeah, I'm gonna do whatever I want, and I don't care because I'm an American.
Yeah, well, you just got thrown up against the bulkhead too. So,
I'm
oh
of the
well, no,
opinion-
you wouldn't have been drinking, would you?
I like anarchists because it lets me know who I can conscript into my army.
At least he's honest about it, folks.
Oh yeah, I'm very pissed off with my guidance counselor in high school. He never told me I could apply to be a warlord.
It's not exactly.
Wait, you can apply to be a warlord?
Hey, they were doing it at Portland not too long ago. I mean, they opened up the Chop Chaz, Chib, Choose, whatever it was.
Yeah, that's like applying to become a drug dealer. That's an off-book occupation.
Yes, but the thing is, actually,
Street corner pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, streetcar or pharmaceuticals. You know what? I would actually be really good at that job. You want to know why? Because I wouldn't use my stuff. I hate these people. I think it's the dumbest thing that people are dealing this stuff and doing it. You have to be really, really dumb to do it. I'd be like, all right, I'm going to sell it because why the hell am I going to burn my profit?
Because then you can get charged with profiteering. That's a second charge.
No, I'm saying drugs. Like,
yeah.
If I were dealing for someone, if like someone wanted me selling for him, I would not use the stuff I'm selling. Because you hear a lot about those drug dealers who are also buying their drugs and using them themselves. Like, are you stupid? No, stay sober, stay clean, sell it to
Actually, you don't generally hear about people who get high on their own supply. They're generally not people much longer.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, every now and then you hear about some idiot who gets high on their own stuff, and eventually it's like they start to run into debt because they're using their own stuff and they're not paying. It's like, that's stupid.
And it's always a cautionary tale, and it always ends sadly. I've seen the Basketball Diaries. I know what it's all about.
I haven't.
It's a rough one.
Yeah, it's a rough movie.
Right?
You see, I have one other advantage. No one expects me. If I were like speaking that stuff, I'd just be like, they'd be like, yeah, who'd think of a small little Muslim woman, 5'1", teeny tiny? Yeah, she isn't dealing. That's crazy.
You're stupid. Yeah, Sergeant, see that chick over there? I think she's dealing. Shut the fuck up. Go get back to.
You know what the dead giveaway is, right? The dead giveaway is all the people passed out around you.
That's true. True.
You got to keep moving.
Yeah, so I got to keep. All right. I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Samuel,
later we will discuss money laundering.
Sam.
Oh,
we got to timestamp this section. Send it to Mike the Cop and see what they say.
So if you're talking about money laundering,
I don't know Mike the Cop.
Okay, we'll talk about that later.
So if you want to talk money laundering, one of the ways they do it is through gift cards. That's why we have strict rules about how many gift cards you can buy and how much you can buy on those goddamn gift cards.
High school car washes. You can fund thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars through high school car washes. Nobody ever be the wiser.
Or
I don't care if you found out.
I'll tell you right now, the best the best way to launder large sums of cash is through a proxy war.
Okay, sure, but I'm
Yeah.
not a Democrat war hawk. I can't pull that off just out of my
Or
pocket.
I'm the
Or
war
with-
hawk here.
or you make the most expensive television series on streaming service. You make it look like shit, and you take the rest of the money. Because I'm serious, I have little doubt there has to be some kind of money laundering going on behind Rings of Power. Because that
No,
does not.
that's straight up embezzlement, Cat.
Yeah. All right. I'm just saying
No,
it's something.
no, because you say lighting costs $50,000 when it actually costs $45,000, and catering costs $80,000.
Wait, are we talking about the federal government?
No, we're talking about Rings of Power and Amazon Prime.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm sorry, guys. That's what Hollywood started out as, is the
Yeah.
money laundering for the
No.
money
Harry, though,
Mexico.
in this case, it wasn't like they said, "Oh, the lighting costs $50,000 and they only spent $45,000. They pocketed $5,000." What it was they said the lighting cost $50,000 and they spent $1,000 and pocketed $49,000.
Yeah, given how
Oh,
god awful that show looks, and the
Okay.
idiots who doing. Also,
Okay.
on top of that, they hired people who shouldn't be doing it. They gave themselves massive salaries. So someone with no writing experience, who's never written a single thing, is all of a sudden getting millions of dollars to write this show. It's like, well, it's the Rings of Power. Should be
it's a
getting paid a lot.
fanfic.
It's a bad fanfic because I've written good.
It's a
I've,
bad fanfic.
they're really, yeah.
Is
That's
there
why I
any
didn't watch
nudity?
it.
Is there any nudity?
No,
Well, then
You know,
it's
that was
something
something
with
that they promised us, man. They said we're going to have an inclusive LGBTQ, all about Game of Thrones, like sex and violence and all this stuff, and they wanted to do it full hardcore. And I was fully expecting to watch some hobbits and some hot, sweaty, graphic backdoor action. And you know what? They never delivered.
It's not even worth the time to hear about it anymore.
I'm sorry, but we're talking about the Catholic author J.R.R. Tolkien. No offense to anybody, but LGBTQ does not belong in the Rings of Power. When the original author was, I mean, don't tell me that Tolkien meant to make Frodo and Sam gay. I am sorry, the guy
No.
was a Catholic who, no.
So listen.
Why was Sam there?
For everybody out in Hollywood who needs to hear this, two men can be friends and can love each other without having romantic and or sexual attraction towards each other.
So
It
he was
happens
that
all the time.
hardcore
It's called
bros before
friendship.
hoes, bro.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying? It was bros before hoes?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. No, I'm not going to argue the point. I'm simply saying they were a close couple. Very close. Very,
No.
very close.
No.
Start
Again,
quoting
let's
that bit
keep in
in
mind that the
cartoon.
author was a Catholic, married Catholic.
I'm just poking you. I get it. I do. I totally get it.
No, I
do.
They can't. That
Shadow
already
is a
exists
valid
so high.
point. Because I made a rant a couple days ago where I was talking about Star Trek and how Spock and McCoy are not together. And if you're,
No.
that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
That's the gayest shit ever.
That's a kid show.
And yet, I have bad news for you, Kat.
All right, when I was a kid and there was Bert and Ernie, all right, it was an actual kid show. Now, when you say kid show, it involves drag queens and story time. Sad but true.
Less story time, more drag queens.
Oh, God.
Bert and Ernie are officially one mattress now.
Or the rainbow penis monkey. He shows up sometimes.
Oh, God, not that, too.
I don't even want to know what you're talking about.
I almost forgot about that shit. I
You
did. I
poor
almost
sucker
forgot about
dog.
that shit.
You don't want to know. You do not want to know what's going on in England.
It's been going on. That guy got famous 2 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, there is one of us who is happily ignorant. If any of you fuck that up, I swear to God, I will kill you.
Oh,
All
I'm
you have to do
definitely
is-
sending you a clip.
You have to just look
Absolutely.
that up on Google. You will regret it. What are they doing to our kids? What are they doing to
They're
kids?
coming
I think-
for our children.
I think you know what-
they,
you know
they
what they're
said it in
doing.
the song. They said it out loud.
It comes
did.
down to this. It comes down to this, and this was something that got brought up to me by the Exiled Lioness. is that this isn't actually about sexuality. It has never been about sexuality. What it's about is population control. The more
And
kids
they
think they're
can't
gay,
reproduce.
the less kids are breeding, the smaller future populations will be, and therefore more easily controlled.
I want to put money on this. I bet
Yeah.
you in five, you know what? Let's make it $50 just for funds. In 5 years, those kids are going to be saying, I don't like the male kids are going to say, I don't like boys at all. And the girls are going to be so homophobic that they're going to be insisting on separate stalls in the girls' high school locker room.
Sleeping pods.
No,
Mhm.
well, no, I actually
And
have a different theory. I think that they are trying to gender neutralize everybody and turn us into a blind workforce who has no sexual desires at all. Because, I mean, look at what they're doing to children. They are making them basically so they are trying to raise a generation of children who will basically the only, and I mean, they're talking about what is it? What is it they're saying that they're preserving their their fertility, like their eggs and their sperm, so that when they're adults, because they're going to be sterile, they can use that to like artificially create. So like if your child's going to go on puberty blockers, before you do that, have them, get their, whatever frozen. Well, the thing is, no, but they're making us worse than Corpus, because at least in the Corpus you still have men and women. If you play Warframe, you can tell the difference. You can see a female character that's clearly it's binary. You have male Corpus and female Corpus. We are going that's why I'm saying we are going the extreme route that even the Corpus would look at us in horror, where they're basically trying to create everyone into a gender neutral robot that has no sexual desire, no desire for closeness or companionship, no desire for relationships, because they on top of that, they're completely messy, and yet at the same time it's like I don't know.
It goes take it a little bit further than that. Think hive insects.
Yes.
Okay. So now we've got women taking on masculine traits, men taking on feminine traits, and shedding the traits of their nature. Eventually they'll all be indistinguishable from each other on a surface level. Now, the vast majority of the workers in a hive, right? They are all of the same gender. They are all sterile. They are all useless for reproduction. Their job is simply to build and to serve, right? And then you've got a queen up at the top, right? Who is, the one that
only they're the
produces all of
queen.
the eggs and stuff. And you have a selection of warriors or, what have you, who are prime males, who are prime breeding stock. And that's their sole purpose, is to knock up the queen and make, superior stock babies. Right. And then you've got your soldier drones, who are typically also sterile, but they don't do the working. They do the killing.
And here we are, full circle, back to eugenics again.
Well, you look at the way that the dating world works right now, right? The way they say in the red pill communities that the top, what is it, like the top 5% of
20%.
men get 10% of men get like 90% of the women or something like that, and the rest of them are left to their own devices or to be the workers.
No, wait, Alexia, what Alexia's saying, no, because in the Corpus, they still have the ability and the option to eventually. The Corpus do not allow you to get married because it's a financial thing. You have to buy a marriage license. But if a Corpus worked hard, they could eventually earn the right to have family. I'm talking like he's saying, where they're turning us into hive, where you don't even ever have that possibility. Also, you have the Corpus middle class, where they have families. So I think, I mean, they would look at what we've become, like even the low rank Corpus are still, haven't turned them into like gender neutral, like just like you said, like hive kind of minded beings. So no, and the way we treat our children, I think even the Corpus would look at us in horror. I think one of the reasons and maybe I'm wrong, this is something where I'm speculating, the Corpus children, you don't see them because they protect their kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, and again, that to go back to the hive ideal, now you don't necessarily need like a single breeding queen. You can have a cadre of them, or a harem, if you will, but you've still got a top percentage of men with influence, wealth, and power who are controlling all of the breeding options. Now, they, of course, would protect their right to that and their progeny and all of that stuff, much like, say, the guys who make up the ruling council of the WEF, for example. You know, all of this is by design. All of it feeds into the one goal, the one God, the one nation. You know, and by God, I mean, you know, like the
state.
Yeah, the state. But
the thing is also with the corpus, I'm guessing at it. They may actually all have families because Shadow brought up a valid point, which is that what is the most expensive profit earning thing? What do people spend the most money on? It's their families and their kids. So while I am guessing, I have not gotten an answer from DE, and I suspect a part of me suspect that it's more likely that how do you control somebody if the corpus are driven towards profit, and it's through the low rank corpus officer who has a family to feed and who will not go off. I mean, if there's one thing I learned from the whole Koof jab thing, it's that people are willing to do things that they normally would not be willing to do simply to protect their family. And it's the same thing. That's why the corp, we don't know for sure, but as I said, if the corpus are looking at us in horror, and we're doing far worse than the corpus.
Well, you know, they say that demons in hell look upon man in awe at our ingenuity.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Also, demons are generally stupid and not particularly creative, so there's that. But yeah, UA, I know who you're talking about, and I know that he's definitely in on it, and he's definitely helping engineer this ideal future of theirs. This utopian ideal, which, as any of you who've been around for a minute know, I've stated this many times, utopia is a fucking myth, and it can never be.
No.
But he is but an apprentice.
Greatest form of tyranny imaginable.
Yeah, he is. You know, he's up there in the ranks, but he ain't the top dog. He ain't calling the shots. For my money, it's Darth Schwab.
Nope.
I said for my money. I know you disagree.
Okay. Well, I know you know I'm right too, but that's not the point here.
Please, the Iranians haven't had significant fucking power since the Persian Empire fell. Come on, man.
Nah,
Actually, but is there a point in guessing? As long as you're wrong, you're fine. As soon as you're right, you get Arkansas-sided.
Oh, well.
So I don't guess.
You know what? I'd rather die for being true and honest than loved for being a fucking lying piece of dog shit. I mean, you know, also I'm suicidal, so you know.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't like what I'm seeing being done to kids. I don't like the direction I see things going. When I see, I mean, and I'll do whatever the hell you want, but the kid thing is really pissing me off.
As it should. Well, we should be angry about it. We should be scared. We should be, you know, on the edge of our fucking seats, waiting for the right moment to make something happen. I am not. This is, by the way, YouTube. I am just talking here. There's no call to arms. There's no any of that nonsense. These are metaphors. We're talking in Minecraft. Whatever it takes, you know. I just, you know, yeah. But you know, you should be scared, and you should be aware, you know, and it should make you angry, because it's fucking evil.
Oh no, don't insult evil that way.
You know what? Do you know what evil is, Carrie? Like baseline.
True evil is I actually don't give a fuck. I'm going to do it anyway. Call the cops. I'm going to keep beating you until they show up.
Well, that's a little more specific than I was thinking, but yeah, basically, yeah. True evil is knowing the difference between right and wrong and deliberately choosing wrong anyway.
Yeah, well, it's a metaphor. But yeah, just choosing.
Are you familiar with the mouse utopia?
Yes,
I remember that. Yeah, I heard about that.
Cat knows. How about you, Sam?
Yeah, Sasquatch and I had talked about it on Mirror's stream. You know, the one that got pulled.
That is exactly what we're looking at today.
Squatch, you tell the story because you brought it up.
All right. So I can't remember what year it went on, but somebody designed a cage to make an absolute utopia for mice. They put in something like 250 mice to start with, and the population exploded and exploded again and a third time. And then something strange happened. Some of the mice decided that they didn't want to compete for space and food. Instead, they would thug around with mice who did compete for space and food and just live off the scraps of that one mouse. Others decided that they didn't want to compete for space or food at all. And so they went to the places where other mice didn't go. And still a third group competed so voraciously and so hard that they were scarred and beat up and lived very short and brutal lives. The ones that went away from the other mice were called the beautiful ones, and all they ever did was preen and groom and basically get doted on by the other mice because they were the perfect example of mousehood, except they don't do anything mice do.
They were the Eloi.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
They were just as mousy as they could be, except for that lack of mousiness. That's a real experiment. That really happened. You can you can repeat it today. That is exactly what we're looking at in Hollywood. The beautiful ones have made themselves apparent.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I do, however, think that we've kind of brought the room down a little bit, so it's time for a little bit of a pick me up, a little bit of a cheer up.
Oh, please.
$20 is $20. I wish Shadow was here to see this. That's all right. He'll watch the replay. He'll catch it then.
It's all right, Shadow.
I'll
I'll
get you a
send
funny
you one
sound to
more
play
copy.
when that happens.
Yeah. I need to get him. You know what I ought to do is I ought to go back and clip the show that we made that on, because I'm pretty sure in it he said $20 is $20.
He
Just,
he
like,
did.
clip his voice.
That's why who made it again?
Oh God.
That was Kohai Maskus made that meme for
Kohai.
us.
Yes.
Kohai made it. That's why Kohai did it.
Yeah.
It was like flying a red flag in front of the ball.
I mean, on the fly too. She was quick with it.
Under 25 minutes.
Yeah, it's a fun meme. Anyway, I just like to bring that up once in a while. A, because I think it's funny and everybody could use a laugh, and B, because it kind of gets under Shadow's skin.
Oh God, it's just I'm tired. I don't know. I'm tired of turning on the internet and finding all of this nonsense at this point. And
yeah,
the world
it's a rough thing. You know, the internet. I'm gonna have a hot take here, guys. So bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, drum roll.
The internet, like free will, was a mistake.
Okay, I'm hooked. Let's go. What it is.
You know,
Keep
I mean,
talking.
if you follow the story of creation in the Christian Bible, it talks about how before man was sent to earth, you know, the angels in heaven were talking to God, and one in particular, one stood above the others and said, I can make sure that all of your children return here, but you got to put me in charge. You can't let them make decisions for anything. And of course, God was in favor of free will, and others spoke up on behalf of free will, and it began the war in heaven. That one who stood above the crowd and was subsequently thrown out was Lucifer. The fact is, he was fucking right. Look what we did with it.
Yeah.
You know?
But
you were
the
doing so good there for a moment.
No, but the difference is, for me, in the case of the internet, is seeing the result of our actions. I don't have a problem with the internet. In fact, in the internet, in fact, I think there should be more freedom of speech on the internet. It's when I go on the internet and I see people, I mean, especially when it comes to kids, and it's like, then I'm not, the problem is I can't be apathetic, because, you know, I turn on and I hear some other story about drag queen story time, and it's like, I want to go down there and, you know, kick some butt, and I'm like, how can some parent do this to their child? Or when you hear about some like 4-year-old getting transitioned from boy to girl, and it's not like the youngest model, it's like, what the hell did you do to your child? You're a 4-year-old child. And so it's like, I wish I could be apathetic. It pisses me off. And I sit there listening to it knowing there's nothing I can do. that's my problem with it. It's not that the internet itself is bad. It's what people are doing outside of the internet that makes you really, really mad, and you wish you didn't know it.
Right, and I get the sense of ennui that comes with this sort of thing. Like, and it is depressing, and it is draining, and it's hard on the soul. I get that. The fact is, though, is that apathy is how we fucking got here in the first place. I mean, like UA says here, it's what those with the superiority complex have done with it. I'd say it's what those with a vision and the will to execute have done with it. The rest of us sat by and let them.
Can I quote Haydn?
Yeah.
Sheep pyramid builders at best, savages at worst.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing is like we keep going down this road. I don't think they're ever going to achieve their ideal, like, one world order utopia. I don't think that's ever even going to be a possibility, because human nature will overcome that. Now, I'm not talking about like, the triumph of the human spirit. I'm talking about the savagery of our darkest parts. We will tear ourselves apart before that becomes a reality. There will come a moment where one section of the population turns on another section. You can't have two competing ideologies that cannot coexist going head to head over and over and over and over again with no release, I guess is the word. Sooner or later, one of them will wipe out the other.
At least a friendly reach around,
And
right?
all of those who were caught in the middle, who refused to choose a side, who couldn't for one reason or another choose a side, will be crushed between them.
Yeah. All of them? No, they'll probably just be enslaved. Well, yeah, a lot of them will be crushed, but most of them will be enslaved.
Yeah. So I guess my point is, and of course I'm looking long term, man. I'm not saying like tomorrow we're all going to go into a massive civil war and murder half the fucking planet or anything, but I think long term, yeah, that's exactly what will happen. We are the same savage apes we've always been, with a thin veneer of civilization, and given the chance, we will prove it every time. That's why I think things like faith are important. I don't care what you got faith in, but faith will keep you grounded.
I've noticed that. Yes, that one of the few things that
that's been a problem with the left, man. They've got faith in nothing. They have no faith in nothing. They don't even have faith in themselves. Yeah, but it's not like a real faith. It doesn't ground them. Like, faith is the glue
in power and beholdens them to power.
Right, but it also
that is their weakness.
It also drags them down. Yeah. So their faith is the millstone around the neck.
Define faith, but moving right along. You see, this
define it how you like. I mean, I just think that those of us, take Kat for example. She's a Muslim of the Muslim faith, right? Take her faith, for example, as something that will, it anchors her, it grounds her, it gives her a place from which to springboard into, the future kind of thing. I don't know. Is any of this making sense? I realize I'm kind of rambling at this point.
Squatch knows that this is about the time when he starts to laugh and say, "Don't do it, Carrie, don't do it." I'm going to get into another S rant.
Yeah. So yeah, no, and I realize I'm probably losing the audience a little bit too. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get a little mouthy. So here you go. That's never going to get old, by the way. Never.
No.
Not as long as I breathe. So yeah, but I think.
Oh, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm about. You guys got anything on that?
Yes, I recommend we change the subject.
I got one last statement to say. I think it all comes down to control, most specifically population control. That's it. That's the whole holy grail. All of everything else is just different ways to get to the same point. They want to control your money so they can control what you can do, so they can control the population, so they can control absolutely everything. Power.
Yep.
Yeah. And the problem is, some Americans like me are too stubborn and do not want to be controlled, and you cannot control me, and I don't give a shit. You ain't controlling me.
Well, I'll have my back right up against that same wall you will. So we'll die together.
That's
Just
nice to
remember,
know.
when we get to the gulag, I'm the little spoon.
You all can march. Yeah, you all can go into the concentration camps. Okay, I have other plans.
Yeah, me too. But
I got
if we
other
get
plans
there,
too.
I'm the little spoon.
Yeah, you know as well as I do that no plan survives contact with the enemy.
Yeah, I can't say what I'm really thinking on YouTube. Period.
I know.
I'll put it in the private chat.
So, but yeah, that said, we've run about 2 hours. Well, actually, we just hit 2 hours now. So I think we probably will end the stream here. It's been great. It's been great having you guys on again.
I appreciate you having me, brother. It's been tons of fun.
Hey, stick around. We got to chat after the stream for a minute. But yeah, we everybody in chat, thank you all for coming and being here and hanging out. We appreciate each and every one of you. Glad to see you back again.
Bud. I got an outro if you want to use it.
I'll be
I was
right
just
over
going
to
to use
Guild
the
Wars Twitter
streaming
couple.
one again, but yeah. So that said, our guests today have been Caucasian Sasquatch. Go ahead and do you have anything you want to plug?
Me, I guess. Carrie, go subscribe to Carrie. This man needs more subscribers.
Yeah,
This
fair
man's
enough.
also fucking insane.
That also true. So the link for both of their their channels is included in the description. So go check them out. Carrie, anything that you got upcoming?
I'm gonna be getting back into streaming here pretty soon. The thing that I was working on is wrapped up, and I got a few more things I got to take care of for Papa Carrie, and then I'm going to be back into it. And oh boy, I'm going to get a couple of 30-day bans. I already know.
Good deal. Looking forward to it. As to my lovely co-host, Cat Likes Warframe, what do you got coming up?
So first off, I just installed this. Well, I'm still installing it.
Sweet.
I have to uninstall some stuff so I can fit Iceborne, but while we were going, I was installing this. Also, me and Shadow of Hark are doing a live stream on Thursdays. I'm planning on alternating between his channel and my channel. So last week it was on my channel. This week it's going to be on his channel. So subscribe to Shadow of Hawk because we're going to be live streaming, alternating between the two of us.
Yep. Sweet. Also, she always forgets to do this, but she also is a co-host on a live stream on Friday nights called Friday Night Royal Rumble on the channel Legion Talk.
Yes.
So don't worry, when she's over there, she doesn't plug us either.
I get distracted. And look, it's 8:00 at night.
So I for myself, we missed Maester Chow today. Wish he had been here. Got some up and coming gaming streams I'm doing with Sunless Skies, which is a whole Jules Verne meets H.P. Lovecraft train in space kind of thing. It's very pretty, but there's a lot of reading, so but it's fun. So I got more of that coming up. We got another show on Thursday with Lawrence Knight and myself, again on this channel, and then this of course is here every week. Approximately 4 p.m. And I say approximately because yes, the start time does vary depending on how fucking late and behind I am.
All 8 and gay.
Yeah. So that said, and the other thing, so last night's solo stream, Whispering in the Dark number 6, the disappearance of Irene Gakwa. Please check that out. Share it around if you can. It's also been uploaded to Rumble, so it can be shared from there as well. Just kind of try and get the word out, get as many people. Luke Castley, who was in here earlier, posted some of those links and stuff on her channel, and she's got like 10 times the reach I do. So that's helpful, and hopefully some information will turn up or at least help prosecute the man suspected of making the disappearance happen. So, yeah, it's a whole thing. I'll fill you in a little while, Carrie, if you haven't watched that yet. that said, we're going to probably close out with my new intro because I don't know. It's fun. I like it. I hope you guys like it. And thank you all for joining me on the panel. Thank you in chat for coming again. And remember, YouTube, yeah, no problem, man. It could always be worse. It could be raining flaming cobras.
I'll take the flame.
Save the red false queen.